Peace, love, and happiness. This is your host, General Gaia, and I am just here to do my promotion. This is really my first time actually doing my service on YouTube. So I'm going to start now, and I just want to say, may Jesus be with us all as we get this here word that I'm going to read. First off, you guys all know we're a rebellious generation, and we all have fallen short for God's glory, and we all are sinners, and we all have not forsaken or denied ourselves from demonic and satanic living. So that's why it says, I stretched out the heavens and I laid the foundation of the earth. Why are you terrified every day? Is it because those who are angry with you are crushing you? Is it because they are trying to destroy you? Their anger can't harm you anymore. And the prisoners who are so afraid will soon be set free. You will not die in your prison cells, and you will not go without food. I am the Lord your God. I stir up the ocean, and I make waves roar. My name is the Lord who rules over all. I have put my words in your mouths, and I have kept you safe in the palm of my hands. I have set the heavens in place, and I have laid the foundations of the earth. And I say to Zion, you are my people. Wake up, Jerusalem. Wake up. Get up. The Lord has handed you the cup of his great anger, and you have drunk from it. The cup makes people unsteady on their feet, and you have drinking from it to the very last drop. Among all the children who were born to you, there was none to guide you. Among all the children you brought up, there was none to lead you by the hand, and nothing but trouble has come to you. You have been wiped out and destroyed, and you have suffered hunger and war. No one feels sorry for you, and no one can comfort you. Your children have fainted, and they lie helplessly at every street corner, and they are like antelopes that have been caught in a net, and they have felt the full force of the Lord's great anger. Jerusalem, your God had to warn them strongly. So listen to me, you suffering people of Jerusalem. You have been made drunk, but not by drinking wine. Your Lord and King speaks, and he is your God. He stands up for his people, and he says, I have taken from you the cup of my great anger, and I have made you unsteady on your feet. But you will not drink from the cup again. Instead, I will give it to those who made you suffer. And they said to you, fall down flat on the feet, fall down flat on the ground, and then we can walk all over you. And then exactly what you did, you made your back like a street to be walked on. Again, fall down flat on the ground. Then we can walk all over you. And that's exactly what you did. You made your back like a street to be walked over. Mind you, I just read where he said, I have taken from you the cup of my great anger, and I made it unsteady on your feet. But you will never drink from that cup again. Instead, I will give it to those who made you suffer. They said to you, fall down flat on the ground. Then we can walk all over you. And in exactly what they did to you, you made your back like a street to be walked on as well. And that was out of Isaiah 51:22. My spirit was troubled, and the visions that passed through my mind upset me. I approached an angel who was standing there, and I asked him, what are all these things really meant? So he explained to me what everything meant, and he said, the 4 large animals stand for 4 kings, and the kings will appear on the earth. But the holy people of the Most High God will receive the kingdom, and they will possess it forever, and it will belong to them forever and ever. Then I want to know what they 4th animal stood for. It was different from the others, and it was the most terrified of all. It had iron teeth, and it browsing claws, and it crushed everyone, and it attacked, and it ate them up, and it stomped on anything that was left. I also wanted to know about the 10 horns on its head, and I wanted to know about the other horns, and it grew up later. It caused 3 of the 10 horns to fall out. It appeared to be stronger than the others, and it had eyes, and its mouth was always bragging. I saw then the horn was at war with God's holy people. It was winning the battle over them. It was winning the battle over them. But then the eternal God came and he decided in favor of his holy people. So the time came when God to them. Here's how the angels explained it to me. He said, the 4th animal stands for a 4th kingdom. It will appear on earth, and it will be different from the other kingdoms, and it will eat up the whole earth. It will stomp on it and crush it. And the 10 horns stands for 10 kings, and they will come from the 4th kingdom. After them, other kings will appear, and he will be different from the earlier ones. And he will bring 3 kings under his control. And he'll speak against the Most High God, and he'll treat God's holy people badly. And he will try to change times and laws that were given by God. God's holy people will be placed under the power for 3.5 years. But the court will be settled, and the power of the king will be taken away from him. And it will be completely destroyed forever. And then the authorities, powers, and greatness of all the kingdoms on earth will be taken from them. And all they had will be given to the holy people of the Most High. His kingdom will last forever, and every ruler will worship and obey him. That's all I saw. My thoughts deeply troubled me, and my face turned pale, but I kept those things to myself. Okay, in Daniel's 8, it was the third year of King Belshazzar's rules. After the vision that had already appeared to me, I had another one. In my vision, I saw myself in the city of Susa, and it had high walls around it, and it was in the land of Elamah. In the vision, I was beside the But the course will be settled, and the powers of the king will be taken away from him, and it will be completely destroyed forever, and the authorities and powers of greatness of all the kingdoms on earth will be taken from them. So, in all we do, we must move in purity. People, to be a follower, you have to forsaken a whole lot of things. Not only do you have to forsaken a lot of things, but you deny yourself of other things of this world, your rights of living, everything. Because after you pick up your cross and you come to know God, then you belong rightfully to him, bought and sold at a very high price. That's why there's no weapon of the world forming against you when you come to know Christ. Because we do all things through God who gives us strength. And those who speak the truth and confess with thy mouth, knowing that what they say will set them free, then they shall be free from oppression. And then they should be free from any strongholds in their minds or in their bodies. Enter God's kingdom through the narrow gate. The gate is large and the road is wide. That leads to ruin. Many people go that way, but the gate is small and the road is narrow. That leads to life. Only a few people find it. Watch out for false prophets. They come to you pretending to be sheep, but on the inside they are hungry wolves. You can tell each tree by its fruit. Do people pick grapes from bushes, and do they pick figs from thorns? In the same way, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree can't bear bad fruit, but a bad tree can bear good fruit. And every tree that does not bear good fruit, it is cut down, and it is thrown into the fire. And you can tell each tree by its fruit. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven. Only those who do what my Father in heaven wants will enter. Many will say to me on the day, Lord, Lord, didn't we prophesy in your name? And didn't we drive out demons in your name? And didn't we do many miracles in your name? Then I will tell them clearly, I've never known you. Get away from me, you who do evil. So then everyone who hears my words and puts them into practice is like a wise man. He builds his house on a rock, and the rain comes down and the water rises, and the wind blows and it beats against that house. But it does not fall, and it is built on a rock. But everyone who hears my words and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man. He builds his house on sand, and the rain comes down and the water and the water rises, and the winds blow and beat against the house, and it falls with a loud crash. Jesus finished saying all these things, and the crowds were amazed at his teaching. And that's because he taught like one who had authority, and he did not speak like their teachers of the law. The cost of following Jesus. Jesus saw the crowd around him, and he gave his disciples order to go to another side of the Sea of Galilee. And then the teacher of the law came to him and said, Teacher, I will follow you, no matter how or no matter where you go. Jesus replied, Foxes have dens, birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head. Another follower said to him, Lord, first let me go and bury my father. But Jesus told him, Follow me and let the dead bury the dead on its own. Jesus got into a boat and his disciples followed him. Suddenly a terrible storm came up on the lake, and the waves crashed over the boat. But Jesus was sleeping, and the disciples went and woke him up, and they said, Lord, save us. We're going to drown. And he replied, Your faith is so small. Why are you so afraid? Then Jesus got up and ordered the winds and the waves to stop, and it became completely calm. And the disciples were amazed. They asked, What kind of man is this? Even the winds of the waves obey him. So that was just to say that, the animals and the wind, the storm, everything obeys God, is under God's control. Everything that is done in moderate decency and order is done by God's grace, by God's power, and by God's might. And to do all those things, we must be humble and just and merciful before our God. So I just wanted that to go out. I'm just trying to build up my YouTube video, and I'm just trying to keep you guys in the loop of what's going on. And I want you guys to reprogram your minds, get you guys' minds together, and start thinking about heaven, man. Get everything that does not have nothing to do with God, get it out. Get it out of your head, get it out of your heart, get it out of your mind, whatever the case may be. Whatever the case may be. Pray and pray and pray and pray. Even when there's fake people around you, pray.